Hey everybody, good morning. Happy Tipster Tuesday. It is awesome to be with you again. My name is Dana Moore and I'm a Presidential Diamond and the co-owner and founder of Live Naturally Tools. And today we're going to talk about the class. It's all about that class. I was actually going to play the song. It's all about that bass, but I forgot. So anyway, good morning. I'm happy to be with you and I'm happy to dive into what makes a successful class, because this is how we have built our business since day one. So this is my wheelhouse if I ever had one. And I want to just share with you what makes classes great and what actually complicates classes and causes your efforts not to maybe produce as much fruit as you would hope, and hopefully give you some tips you can walk away with. So I hope you find this really valuable. It's fun for me to be able to share about this because this is kind of the heart and soul of my doTERRA story, is classes and the evolution of classes, if you will. And so I just want you to know, to start with, that every time I teach, I do use Live Naturally handouts. And these are the ones that we sell on livenaturallytools.com. You can download them on livenaturallytools.com as well. A brand new updated version will be for sale on Friday. Just so you know, if you want to just hold off a couple of days and make sure you're getting the most updated version, I just want you to know about that. And we also have a Live Naturally chair pad. If you have gone through like Emerge sales training, you know that maybe a one-page sheet is maybe more your style. We have that as well. It's also a free download, but it's, in the end, it's cheaper to purchase a packet of handouts than it is to print constantly by yourself, as well as paper quality is better. But I want to let you know that because it actually, to me, matters so much. And the reason that Live Naturally Tools even started, and the reason that Jeanette Cross and I got together and started to think we need handouts, was more than just a lot of things were often out of stock that we needed. But at that time, nothing was simple and had a flow that set us up for success. Every class that we tried to teach from was complicated, way too wordy. It went from one part to the next. And sometimes I would find myself skipping things in class. I'm like, okay, we're going to just skip this part. We're going to skip this part. And I felt really unprofessional in that. And I didn't love that I was telling my customers to just skip things. I didn't love that I would jump from like one page to the next and be like, okay, now I'm going to go here, because it just didn't flow the way I felt like it should. And so part of your success in a class is finding a handout that flows and is intuitive to the way that you want to teach. And so that's really, really important. So that's where we came in and developed this handout. Gosh, I think it's been almost 4 years now. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure it's been that long since we've had this, and it's evolved in time. But one of the things that you want to make sure about your class is not only do you have the materials that you love and that are easy to teach from and that help set you up for success, but you want to kind of have a few other things in place. And so before the class, there's a lot of prep work. And I often think this is where people skip steps and mess up. And so my kind of idea about this, or my like peeve, I guess you will, with this, is if you're going to put forth the effort to have a class, to invite people, to put yourself out there for networking, invite new friends, you know, all the work of those types of things. If your class, if it's not rocking, if you're not following up before, if you're not following up after, you're kind of missing out on a gold mine in that sense. And so it's more than just the 1 hour, 2 hour class time that you are putting like time and effort into. There's a lot of prep on the front end and on the back end of these things too. So keep that in mind. One thing that I would suggest is, if you know who's coming to your class, maybe it's 3 to 5 people are coming, or you have some people and they're bringing friends, is if you can connect with them before the class and just say, I'm so excited that you're coming. I am tailoring my class to your needs. Can you tell me a little bit about what your family is interested in learning about? Is there any health concerns that you have that maybe I could address during our class? Have you ever used oils before? If you have like a nice 5 to 10 minute conversation with the guests coming, or at least most of the guests coming, there is I mean, I have no real statistic for you, but there is a much greater chance that people will enroll because they've had a touch point with you and there's a level of trust that you started to build with them. There's a rapport that you've built, and so that when they walk into your house or your public class or you walk into their space, it's like, oh my gosh, I just talked to you on the phone, and they're putting a face with a name, and there's a sense of like, oh, she already knows I have asthma, you know, she already knows that my son doesn't sleep, and we're going to talk about that. Like, they're coming because the class is going to be tailored to them. And so this is going to increase the amount of people that show up, and this is going to increase the amount of sales that you have at the end when you close. So really, really key points there. You got to make sure that you do that. And you can skip that step, but then at your class, you're going to feel like you're trying to get to know everybody, and you're not going to have a good handle on who is there and what they need. And so this is like just a massive proactive step. And I think I got that idea from Melina Harrison. And I was like, oh my gosh, it's just so smart. And it started to change everything for our class. Okay. Now, once your people come, once they arrive, wherever your class is, I would say it is crucial that you are there on time, that you are set up and ready to go, and that you are ready to greet people at the door, that you're social and you mingle. And I get it. I know social anxiety. I am massively extroverted, and I still feel like that sense of like hesitation or awkwardness when people come in that I don't really know. I'm like, ah, you know, you want somebody else to be the one who says hello, but it is your job to make sure that everyone has a great time and feels welcomed, that everyone feels like, man, somebody's happy that I'm here. Kind of like you need to be the life of the party because you're the one running the show. And so make sure that you are greeting people. Hey, Jennifer, I'm so glad you're here. Do you remember chatting with me? I'm Dana, just so you know. There's, you know, now a name to a face. Yeah, whatever. How's your little guy doing? You know, so now you have, oh, she remembers me, and then she asks about my kid, and she's happy that I'm here. Like, this is going to make people feel so at home and welcome. Nobody likes to walk into anything and feel like no one's talking to them, and they feel awkward and they don't know everybody. And you can't assume that everyone knows each other at this, you know, at this class, because if your class hosts maybe invited a lot of people from different circles, and then she might have invited work people and family and neighbors and friends, and they don't all know each other. So you kind of have to help be the connector there, because they're all there for one common purpose, and that's to learn about essential oils. So I would mingle and chat and try to pull out some information from them within the first, you know, about 10 minutes. And in that time, I usually offer them water. I'm like, hey, did you want to drink a water? I know it's not my house necessarily. I'm usually teaching somewhere else. But regardless, I'm the one teaching the class, so I have to drive this train. Okay, so I'm like, would you like some water? Let's try some essential oils in it. I usually have two choices. I'm like, do you want to try lemon or orange, or lemon or tangerine, something like that? And sometimes people are like, no, just plain water is good. And I'll say, you sure? Everyone needs a good detox. And or I'll make a joke about it. And sometimes they'll still be like, no, I'll just stick with plain water. I'm like, okay. And that's okay, but I really want them to try lemon, or I'll just put in like a drop or two of lemon in every glass and then fill them with water. And like, here you go. Would you like lemon or orange? And they only have two choices. Plain water isn't even a choice. So people have just like never experienced essential oils in water before. And so often they're a little hesitant. So that is usually all that I serve at a class. And I'll tell you why. If you complicate it and you serve food and it becomes a party and a production, and the host goes crazy with food, it just causes people to, one, stay too long, or to be distracted and start too late, depending on how you work that out. It causes them to have too much to juggle between eating and writing and learning and passing oils. It's just kind of like really like cumbersome, and it's too much. And so I want to encourage you to help coach your hosts that if they want to have a snack, we'll do it at the end. In the beginning, it's better just to have water because there's so much for people to juggle. Now that the weather is cool, I often will also serve hot cider. I love to do hot cider, and then I add a drop of cinnamon, or On Guard you can do as well to the hot cider. People love that, and it's just nice to come somewhere and get a nice hot drink. It kind of enhances the experience, so to speak, but also extremely simple. Like, I'm just buying a gallon of fresh cider and warming it up on the stove. So anyone can do it. And the reason I'm hitting this so hard, you guys, is because if I'm not a cook and if I don't like to host And if having people over to my house in general already feels like a little bit tricky, then the sense of like, now I have to serve food and that costs extra money and extra time and I work until 6 every day, the chances that maybe me as an onlooker looks around and thinks, oh, I want to have a class, is just going to be really slim because you made it so complicated. Okay, so you just want to keep all of those things simple. Greet, hydrate, have them sit down, you know, and you can do the class around a kitchen table. That's one of my favorite places. Or if it's, you have too many people in a living room, is obviously a great spot too. If you're doing public classes, you know, typically you only would have water to serve. Okay, so really, really easy on that end. And the truth is, you're going to teach a lot more if you don't make it complicated. If it's easy and you're just serving water and you're just going to feel like, man, this is so easy. My class prep is simple. So it's going to set you free. It's going to set everyone else free. In addition, people that want to build, that maybe are thinking, could I do this as a business? If it gets complicated, I would run, you know, personally. Anything that's complicated to me makes me run away. I'm like, it's too much. It's too much. Life should not be this hard. There's too much going on. And so if it's too complicated, people are going to just skedaddle and be like, I can't do what she does. I can't do that. I can't whip up the guacamole, and I can't, you know, make the fancy cookies. I can't do all of that and do this, you know. And there might be a time and a place for stuff like that, like an open house, make and take. Maybe you do it a little more extravagant, but a basic intro class needs to be a basic intro class. That's what we're talking about today. Okay, big deal, you guys. Keep your classes 45 minutes long. If you are a what they're gonna do is just glaze over and check out. And so if you are thinking, man, my classes, I feel like I teach really well, my information is thorough, I feel confident, I'm connecting with people, but they're not enrolling, it's often because you're going way too long. You're saying too much. And if you say too much, what ends up happening is, you know, our attention span can only handle 20 to 30 minutes worth of information. So if you're going on and on and on, and then, you know, on and on and on, more and more and more, if you're doing those types of things, all it's going to do is cause you to lose sales at the end. And so just keep in mind that this is not your only chance to educate them, okay? This might be your first chance to educate them, but this is not your only chance to educate them, because you're going to do a membership consult once they get their oils. In addition to that, you are going to bring them into your fold, usually your online community, your user group, so that you have a resource to them. You're going to point them to books that they can check out, like Modern Essentials, Essentials of the Earth, Essential Oil Magic is my favorite one. You're going to be kind of guiding them to resources. You are their guide, right? So don't try to be the hero at the class and teach them everything and fix all their problems. If you do that, you're going to be talking like way too much. You're going to be talking heads. So you got to think about that. I will be going through a class and think, there's so much more I could say about this. And I just move on because I've already blown their minds, right, with the basics. And that's all I want to do. I want to blow their minds. Think about giving them like a delicious appetizer. This is their essential oil appetizer. And you give them the delicious appetizer and you share with them. And they're like, oh, that was so good. It makes me want more. Okay, that's what an appetizer should do. If it fills them up and stuffs them and makes them have no appetite for more, it's too heavy, it's too much. So think about that with your class, okay? Now, our new handouts have, why did I start using essential oils? My story, that's gonna be first from now on, because it just seems to flow better. So you're gonna open with your story, you know? And I always say, you guys, it was so fun. I connected with almost all of you on the phone ahead of time, which gives me a really good idea of how I want to run this class and make sure that each of you leave with the essential oil knowledge that you want. But I want to tell you why I started using essential oils, and I go into my story. Now, you want to do this for like 1 to 3 minutes, so it's short. And I always say be a little bit vague in details, not in maybe your health issues or your story, but instead of like naming your friend, like for example, my friend Megan introduced me to oils. Instead of saying, so I had my friend Megan, and then she was pregnant with Rowan, and I was pregnant with Olivia. Instead of saying that, because people are like, who are all these people? Just say, I have a friend, we were both pregnant, because when you start to name names, they start to think, who's that? Do I know her? And they're not paying attention to you anymore. Also, they don't know these people, and truly the people are irrelevant. The names are irrelevant. The story is what matters. So think about your story and think about what part of your story you actually want to share, and that's the part you're going to share, okay? And everyone can relate to your story if you connect with them on an emotional level or make them laugh, okay? So usually I go for laughter because it's just more my style, and I'm not a crier most of the time. So I usually go for, a little bit of humor in my story. But I'm gonna go through that 1 to about 3 minutes. And if you are practicing, which you should be, time yourself and see if you're going longer than that. If you can't seem to get it under 3 minutes, it's just too long and you need to cut some details out of it, okay? And even if it's complicated, like I had somebody say, really, my story is just so intense, it takes me at least 20 minutes. I'm like, no, you can summarize that in 2 minutes. Like, you are given way too many details. This is not the time or the place for that, just it's too much. Like, your whole class is just sharing a testimony, but they haven't even learned anything yet. And then the next part you're going to go through is just kind of a little bit of essential oil history knowledge. Nature produces these essential oils. Our body uses them. We have little to no side effects, and they're very cost effective. So I'm going to give this is why I use essential oils, because of these things, and this is why you can use them too. Very, very simple. And then you're going to ask them a very key question. And the thing I love about our handouts the most is it actually requires engagement from them. And the more they talk, and the more they write, and the more that they participate, the more that they buy, okay? Because they're connecting the oils to what they need. The less that you engage them, if you just stand up there and talk, the harder it is going to be to get them to purchase and own it for themselves. So it says on our new handout, it says, what are you hoping to learn from this class? And so, you've probably talked to them ahead of time. You've talked to them at the door and say, I know a lot of you, I know what you're hoping to learn. But I would love for you to write it down, because I want to make sure that I'm very intentional and you get everything you want out of this class tonight. So write down what you're hoping to learn. And I wait a minute. I always take a big drink of water because my mouth gets really dry when I talk anyway, but it gives me a natural pause. Sometimes I go fill up my water and come back and I'm like, okay, tell me a couple of things you're hoping to learn. And I just let a few people share. I'm like, okay, great. Yep, we can learn about that. We can learn about that. They'll mention like green cleaning. They'll mention pets. They'll mention sleep. They'll mention whatever. Who knows? Who knows what they're going to mention? But for the most part, I take mental notes of what they're saying, because later I'm probably going to cover it no matter what, because this handout is so thorough. But I usually point to them. I'm like, oh, you were talking about energy. This is what, this is kind of why essential oils help support your energy. Or you were asking about sourcing. This is exactly why we love doTERRA, is because of co-impact sourcing. This is what is going to give you all the answers you're looking for. And so you're connecting it to them, okay? So that's a really important thing to do. After that, if you've gotten their information, you're going to go right into aromatic, topical, and internal use. And big change there, but we did that on purpose because it just feels like it bodes the need to talk about the 3 ways to use oil straight away. And you can say, for all the things you're hoping to learn, the thing that's most important is that you understand what essential oils are and how to use them. Because when you get these in your home, you are going to want to know you can use them 3 different ways, and you're going to want to know that you can be really flexible in those ways. So I'm going to be very thorough on this part. And I love to be thorough on this part because it's the basic, and it matters, okay? So if you're going to spend any time on anything, for God's sake, teach them how to use oils, okay? I made this joke in a post, I think recently, it's in my my Instagram highlight class prep tips. So if you want to check that out, you can. I had a class on Thursday and I just kind of highlighted all my prep. But I was saying people don't care about how much limonene is in lemon. What they care about is how to use essential oils. So don't worry about too much science. Don't worry about gas chromatography and mass spectrometry. Don't worry about things like that. Worry about how to use these oils, because the oils will speak for themselves. The oils will sell themselves. and you're getting too complicated if you're throwing big words at them, okay? So one thing to remember, I learn a lot from Donald Miller. He's one of my absolute faves to learn business from. But he says, you know, the human brain is designed to survive and thrive. Many people teach this. Deb Miller teaches this. Anyone that's into neuroscience teaches this. And so basically, if you're throwing complicated words at them and you're talking about testing and science and things that are just going to blow their little minds, you're causing their brain to actually want to escape the situation instead of dive in. You know, most people aren't learners and most people aren't high science learners. And so they want to flee the situation. Their brain is saying too much overload. You don't need this. And so it is actually really important to speak at a very basic level when it comes to these things. So teach them how to use their oils. I always demonstrate a little shot glass with essential oils and show them how I would take a shot. I demonstrate a veggie cap. I demonstrate topical use, and I've heard from some people they make a roller right there, like in front of them, and show them how to make a roller. And when they do that, almost always people add the rollers on to their order as well as FCO. So you just got 2 add-ons for your order right there. And then obviously show them a diffuser. I always kind of open the lid, tell them to put, you know, tap water works best. They're easy to clean. Let's do 4 to 8 drops, whatever. And I make jokes about it too, you guys. Keep it really simple. Like I'll say, listen, put 4 to 8 drops of your favorite or mix a combination of whatever you love. And I was like, here's a tip. This is not, like, nothing's going to blow up. Okay, this isn't like a science experiment that you're like, what if I mix, you know, Breathe with On Guard? What's going to happen? Nothing's going to happen. You're just going to get healthy. Okay, so don't worry about that. Feel free to mix and match. And then they're like, oh, okay. So they feel really empowered to use oils. They know how to use them internally. They know how to use them topically, and they know how to use them aromatically. Then you're going to give them a peppermint experience, and then you're going to talk about On Guard. So that's all the flow of the new handout. And peppermint experience, I always show them, okay, we're going to experience these 3 ways to use oils with peppermint. And I'm going to pass peppermint around, and obviously you guys know the peppermint experience, but they're going to rub it in their hand. They're going to take a deep breath aromatically. They're going to rub it on the back of their neck, and I always say, take your thumb and press it to the roof of your mouth, and you'll be able to taste that, because now it's just their own hands, you know? And so I want them to experience 3 ways of tasting the essential oils, smelling the essential oils, and feeling the essential oils. I want that, and that's what the peppermint experience is all about. And I ask them, well, how do you feel right now? What kind of things have happened in your body with peppermint? And they'll share those things. So that's a really fun thing to do. And then we go into the science a little bit of how essential oils actually penetrate our cells. Why do we feel this way when peppermint happens? Why do we feel energized? Because essential oils work with our body. They can penetrate a cell membrane. They can affect the cell and speak life to the cell, and the cell will listen. You can keep it really simple, but it helps them to understand, like, oh, this is health on a deeper level than I've ever known it before. And I like to just say it just like that. You guys, this is health on a deeper level than you've ever known it before. So if you're ready to get more serious about your health, this is what's going to help, because essential oils can drive deeper into the body than anything else. And then I go to the next page, okay? So that first page probably takes me 15 minutes. But I want it to take me 15 minutes because it's the most important stuff, okay? It's the most important things, and then you're gonna open it up. You're gonna chat a little bit about why doTERRA is awesome and co-impact sourcing. And we have a tagline in our handout, what's best for you is best for the world. And I love that, because I think the main thing that you wanna drive home in a class is the fact that you're putting the best things possible on your kids and on your body, but it's also making the biggest impact on the world, sustainability wise, for other children, for families, for workers, for third world countries. So just really in general, you don't have to go into a ton of it, but the concept of this is best for us and best for the world is something you want them to remember. You want them to leave your class knowing that, okay? So then what you're going to do is you're going to go into, I think the next thing is what do you want more of? What do you want less of in your life? And then you go through your top 10 oils. Now, I only ever teach about the top 10 oils unless it's a specialty class for a special reason. Like if I was teaching a pregnancy, birth, and baby class, that would be different, okay? But in an intro class, I only teach the top 10 oils, and I've already done 2 in the beginning. I've already done peppermint and On Guard. So now I can simply go through the rest of them. And I do like 2 to 3 talking points on each one. And so it's like 30 seconds to a minute on an oil. And that's why you can get through the next 8 easily. You're looking at 8 minutes maybe, okay? And so I'll say, hey, you know, like our first oil I think is lemon maybe on the sheet. I think it's lemon. But this is lemon, and this is what a lot of you are drinking in your water. And let me tell you why you're already healthier. And then I'll say, because lemon helps to alkaline our body. It also helps to pull petrochemicals from our body, which are plastics that disrupt our hormones. And a lot of you were saying you wanted, you know, better mood, you wanted more energy. All of those are related to our hormones and our endocrine system. And so lemon is an awesome supporter of that. Also, if you just want to stay healthy and encourage your body to drink more water, you're going to want to add lemon. And then I go to the next thing. I mean, that probably took me 30 seconds to say, okay? So you want to go to the next oil and you're like, okay, this is the most precious oil. This is frankincense. And I'm telling you guys, if you forget everything I say today, you have to remember that when in doubt, use frankincense. You've got to use frankincense. It's the best oil that we have. And then you go into frankincense. You go on and on. I might take a minute on frankincense where it would take 30 seconds on lemon, okay? So you don't want to wait and talk about the best oils last. You know, you want to make sure you're hitting the highlights. And remember, they've said things on the phone call. They've said things at the beginning of class. And so if you remember anything that they say, you could say, oh, you were talking about anti-aging. This is for sure the oil you're going to use. You put it in your moisturizer at night, rub it all over your face, that kind of thing. And just be careful with your verbiage, because one thing that I notice a massive difference in my class, if I say, I love this oil because it does this. I love this oil because it does that. I love this oil. They're like, who cares? We don't care what you like, Dana. Like, we don't care. But if I say, you have to have this oil on your in your medicine cabinet because you're going to wake up with the stomach bug, God forbid, and you're going to want a solution immediately. And this is going to save your life. I'll say that about digestion, obviously, or I'll say this is the oil you have to have for head cold, chest cold. You can't live without it. You're going to rub it on your chest. It's going to bring such relief. And if I say that, like you, they're taking it in and they're associating it with themselves. But if I say it all about me, they're kind of like, whatever, we don't care as much, okay? So make sure that you are just associating everything with them, okay? It's about them. The class is about them. It's not about you, actually, okay? You are the guide in this class, and they are the hero of their own story. So you have to empower them for their health, okay? You have to empower them for their health. It's so easy to do. All you do is switch what you say. Instead of I, you say you. You got it, okay? You can practice it and go straight to it. On the bottom, we have popular extras. We have like Balance is there, Aroma Touch, Serenity, Wild Orange. They're just in case you're like, this class is dying to know about sleep. I'm going to hit on Serenity, or everyone came in stressed out. Let's talk about Balance. Just depends. But usually I don't talk about those. I'll just mention them. Like, these are really popular extras. A lot of people, these are the first 4 oils that they're going to add on next to their kit, something like that, okay? And then I'm going to talk about supplements and go through why our bodies need supplements. This part takes me maybe 3 minutes. Again, it's not long, but I just want to establish with the audience, with the class, that food is the most foundational thing in our life, and everything we eat feeds disease or fights disease. And I say that at every single class. And this is like my message to the world. I'm like, everything you eat feeds disease or fights disease. And even if we're choosing to eat everything in our diet that fights disease, we're still not getting enough vitamins and minerals in the foods that we eat to keep our bodies healthy and feeling great. So if you wonder why you don't feel good, it's because you just are not getting enough to run at your optimal level. And so this is where Lifelong Vitality comes in. It's a foundation for your health. You will never regret taking this. And there's a 30-day money-back guarantee. blah, 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 and I'm off to the next thing. So I'm not going to hit on it too hard. I'll often, you know, come back to their membership consult. If they don't enroll with it, it's okay. Obviously, if I'm teaching a cleanse class, you know, that's all about the supplements. And so that could be something you do part 2 or the next week or whatever. Okay. And then we're going to talk about closing. Okay. So I know that could be a whole Tipster Tuesday in itself. How do you close? How do you actually get people to walk away buying essential oils? The first thing is, guys, you started closing the second you called them and asked them what they wanted to learn about. You started closing then. Okay, you started closing when you asked them what their main health concerns are. You started closing when you engaged them in their story. You started closing when you said, you need this because nobody wants to wake up with a stomach bug and have no tools. You know, you need this to help prevent illness and keep your kids healthy. You need this. Okay, so the more that you say that, the easier it closes, because you've set up the sale the whole time. You set up the sale the whole time. Okay, so then you're gonna close, and I always just say, and I'll give you some tips for closing. I always say, okay, so how do you get these oils? Because you gotta have them. How do you get them? I was like, I want you to understand that this is like a Costco membership. And so when you're signing up to get your first kit of essential oils, it's like you're getting your Costco membership, and you are signing up to be a customer. So you're not signing up to do a business. I know that's a common question, but what you're doing, you're signing up to be a customer to get the absolute best prices possible with doTERRA. And so to be a customer, you need to pick a kit that fits your needs and your budget. The most popular kit is by far the Natural Solutions kit, because it has everything I talked about in class, plus all the personal care products you could want to get started, to get the toxins out of your home. It's just also the greatest savings. You save over $200 off of wholesale prices when you dive in with this kit. So if it meets your needs and your budget, I would say put a check mark next to it, because this is the kit that will blow your mind. If that kit isn't exactly what you're looking for, then the Home Essentials kit is our other most popular kit. And this has the big bottles of oils, as opposed to the Family Essentials next to it, which has the small bottles of oils. This one has the big bottles, the top 10. Awesome place to start. Really, you just need some rollers and FCO and you're good to go. And so I would just say this one, you can't go wrong. It's going to last you a while. It's going to get you through some of this cold and flu season, that kind of thing. And then I'll say Family Essentials is the same 10 oils, small bottles. So only 5 milliliters. And if you have time, if you feel like, man, they're engaged and they're looking, you can compare the two. And I actually like to compare the two. And I think I learned this from Carrie Oots. Not Carrie, Kari. Sorry, Kari. You're probably even on here too. I have too many friends named Carrie and Kari, and they spell them all the same. So anyway, from Kari, but she was saying, slight deviation there. She was saying, she says in her class, and I loved it, she would say, okay, the difference between here is big bottles and small bottles. And if you look at them, the big bottles is 15 milliliter, small bottles is 5 milliliter. So how much more oil are you getting? And people are like, 3 times as much. Like, exactly 3 times as much. But is it 3 times as more, like more money? And they'll look back and forth at the prices, and they're like, no. And you're like, is it even twice as much money? And they're like, no. And you're like, so it's an amazing, amazing, amazing value. Okay. So anyway, you can do that, and it helps them to upsell from a Family Essentials kit to a Home Essentials kit, because they're getting the diffuser and 3 times the oils. So that really matters, you guys. And if that's all you say, that's it. Now in our handout, we only highlight, do we highlight 5 kits? I think we added the Diamond kit in there. And we did that on purpose. We did that so that they could see the best kit, the higher price kit, and then they could see the Natural Solutions kit. And so there was a sense of like, whoo, Diamond kit, that's incredible. Can't do that. But if I'm gonna go big, I could go with Natural Solutions. So it's kind of like showing them a high price point and a low price point, and usually people end up somewhere in the middle with that, okay? So that's why the Diamond kit is in there, but the Natural Solutions is still the biggest feature. And then we go on, and then we encourage them to get add-ons as well. And the add-ons that they're going to pick, by and large, are gonna be those roller balls, the 6 roller balls that doTERRA now sells, and the FCO, potentially veggie caps, because you've talked about all of them in class. Maybe an extra diffuser, because right away I'm like, you kind of need more than one diffuser in your house. I mean, I like have 9 maybe. But at first I only had one, and I would like, it would travel all around my house like every day. It was like attached to me. I would take it everywhere I was going to go. And so it's fine if they don't add a diffuser on, but if they pick like a family essentials kit, they're going to need a diffuser for sure. And back when I'm talking about diffusers, by the way, and aromatic use, I usually say it's kind of impossible to be a successful oiler without a diffuser. And people are like, oh, can't be successful without a diffuser. I'm like, you just can't be. You have to diffuse. And so when they come to pick a kit, they're not really interested in a kit without a diffuser. So just a tip there. If there isn't a kit that fits their needs, or if they kind of seem a little bit like, I always say, you know, if you don't see something that fits your needs, let me know, and I can figure out a way to customize something for you, but these ones are the most popular and have the greatest savings. That's all I say. So I will have a download. We have a download on Live Naturally Tools of the kits. I will have it laminated, and I have it with me. It's tucked away. And so therefore, when I'm helping people check out and fill out their things, I look, and if they're kind of like, I kind of want this one, but I really want a diffuser, but I don't want to spend more, then maybe I'm going to show them the Aroma Touch Diffuse kit or something, okay? If they're like, really, I actually just want to start with the supplements, you know, is that an option? Because I feel like that's where I need it the most. I was like, yes, there's totally an option. Let's get you on the Cleanse and Restore, then we can add in oils later. And so I want to have that kind of tucked away, because when I'm closing them out, like, I'm going to be able to suggest that. The other thing is when I talk to them on the phone ahead of time, and I kind of get an idea of their needs, I can send them a kit or two and say, this is what I would suggest for you guys, because based on our phone conversation, hey, can't wait to see you at class. These are some kit options that you might be interested in based on our conversation. I want you to wait till after the class to pick one, but I want to give you a heads up on it, because I think based on what we talked about, this is going to be the right way for you to start. And that kind of helps them too, to have in mind, like, they're coming to buy a kit. They're coming to buy a kit. So that phone call and the stuff that you do ahead of time is actually like money, okay? It's not like, oh, if I feel like calling them, I will. I'm like, no, you're just like leaving money on the table if you don't. And then the thing that we do, you guys, because honestly, no one wants to feel like they're giving their child up for adoption or buying a house when they enroll, okay, is they look at their kits, they pick their kit. I said, as soon as you pick the kit that you need, mark it on the order form so you don't forget. I need to know which one you're picking. So you mark it on the order form, you mark your add-ons and anything extra. You can write on the lines, fill out the form, and sign it, and we're good to go. And it's perforated, and then I rip it out, and I have it. And then the rest of it, I don't actually go over in class very much, because all I really want is for them to get enrolled. I need the form. That's the most important thing. Remember, because this is their appetizer. It's kind of over. Their next meal is going to be everything else. And so depending on time, you actually have to be good at knowing, like, am I out of time? Have I lost them at this point? Like, I've got them enrolled. The time is ticking. It should be time to go. Where are we at? You know, you have to actually know that. But I'll just say a few more things, you guys, if I could just draw your attention to this page, because we'll talk about it later when I come and do a membership consult with you, or we'll have a little online meeting to review your oil purchases, is when you need more, when you run out, there's this awesome program called Loyalty Rewards, where doTERRA actually rewards you the more that you order. So you get even a deeper discount as you go. So I'll make sure that I highlight that and tell you about it. But if you want to read it, it's right here. Also, if you're interested, as we were talking, obviously you guys had to be thinking about people in your life that need essential oils. I mean, how many of you thought of somebody? And they'll raise their hand. I'm like, well, who were you thinking of? They're like, my dad. And you're like, who were you thinking of? And you're like, oh, who wasn't I thinking of? And you're like, okay. So here's the thing. If you want to host a class for me, I'm happy to come and teach. It'll look just like it did tonight. It's very simple. All you need to do is provide water in your dining room table, and we're good to go. I always say I'm great with 3 to 5 people, but if you have more friends that are sick and need oils, that's great. Invite them all, and I can handle it. And I pass around a calendar at that point. I didn't print one off for you this morning. I show it in my Insta story highlights, but I pass around a calendar. I said, here's the spots where I'm open this month. And so you can mark, if you mark that you want to host a class, mark it, claim that spot right away. We'll get it on the calendar with you. And I have a little gift for you. And I show them that I'm going to give them one of my upcycle labels on a 15 ml with the spray top. This like cost me, I want to say less than 50 cents total to make and give them. So it's super cheap. So if in case their class falls through, no big deal. I haven't really lost anything. But you can get a variety of these upcycle labels, or you can buy all one sheet. But I often give clean hands this season just because everybody is like, they love that. I mean, who doesn't love an extra clean hand spray in their purse, right? Okay. So super easy to do that. And so I pass the calendar around. You'll see you can download our calendar. I like to use a clean, fresh calendar. I don't want to pass around my family's calendar. They don't need to know when I'm going to the dentist or to the gynecologist. They don't need to know those things. That's none of their business, and it's way too messy and distracting, okay? So remember, the whole concept is that if it's simple, you're going to be successful, and if it's complicated, you're going to fall apart. And so pass that calendar around, mark the times that you can do it. I love to start class at 6:30. I feel like if you start class at 6:30, you're done, out the door. Everyone's closed up by 8 o'clock, okay? For sure, 8 o'clock. So 8 o'clock feels so manageable. They're home by 8:30, and they're like, wow, that was so great. That was fun. But if you start at like 7, you start at 7:30, you're not over till 9. You're slow, you teach too long. They're not home till 10, 10:15. Who wants to host a class if you're going on and on? So this is why timing actually matters. It's not just about you teaching efficiently. It's not just about their attention span. It's about the whole picture, okay? It's the whole experience. So I book a class that way. And maybe you have a host gift that you're like, if you book a class with me and your class, happens, it actually happens, I have a special gift for you, and then you could give the class host a gift at that moment if you have one, okay? That's kind of optional. It's up to you, but it's really nice to do, especially if you're pushing for a new rank or you really, really want to book classes. It's just nice to have a little bit of leverage, and they don't get the gift until after their class is over because there's a time for that, okay? The other thing I do is say, I don't want to leave without letting you guys know that if you're ever interested in learning about the business of doTERRA and doing what I do and just teaching people how to be healthier, I'm always available. I'd love to meet you for coffee and chat about that, because this has changed our life, and this is what my husband and I do full time. And then I go to the next thing. So I'm not really talking too much about it, but I want them to know that there's an option, and let me know. Let's talk about it, okay? And then the back is just for them. The back is a daily protocol with the suggested monthly LRP now is on there. The things that they would use daily is suggested. Remember the Healthy Habits kit that was from I think it was the spring? We put that on the back and said, order on your LRP. And so it tells them exactly what to do in their day-to-day. Because remember, they're brand new, so they need to know exactly what to do. And then there's just a way to contact you and set up their membership consult as well, okay? So those are important tips. That's a little bit extra. I would say if you're done with everything in 45 minutes, this is okay that it's the extra part, okay? Because you've closed them, so they've made the decision, so their brain is clear now. They've made a decision. Made a decision. I'm excited about that, okay? Then they can pay attention to a few other things. It's before the decision that you have to be really cautious that you don't overwhelm them, okay? Keep it very, very simple. Okay, this was a long Tipster Tuesday for you guys. Sorry. A couple tips though, a couple ideas is there is a tutorial that we do in our Roadmap to Success. Our Roadmap to Success is a free download ebook on our website on livenaturallytools.com. And in there, there's a tutorial for every single tool we have. We're about to update it all, but I would say you can get these concepts and a lot of what we just talked about in there if you want to rewatch. We also have a class script, which will match our new handout soon, but you can get that as a free download as well. And so if you're kind of stuck with transitions or what did she say, there's tips and different things in the script that you can use that will just help guide you. Now, a script is just it's just a nudge in the right direction, okay? It's It's not meant to be used forever, but once you get your first couple classes underneath you, you'll be good to go after that. So it just helps you as you're practicing and you're like, what word am I looking for here? Or I need a transition word here. That is going to be where the script will come in handy for you until it becomes your own thing, okay? What else? The new handouts come out on Friday, so just keep a lookout for those, and we'll make sure that we let you know that they're available and ready to be ordered. So that will be really simple. I think that's it. I hope I'm not forgetting anything. I did see tons of questions come through. I don't answer them on the fly or I'll get massively distracted, but I do go back in your comments and try to answer everything. So I'll give it a look and try to give you an answer as best I can. But you guys, thanks for joining us live. And I would actually ask you, if you want to do me a favor, we are trying to get to 10,000 followers in our Instagram on Live Naturally Tools, because once we have 10,000 followers, you'll be able to swipe up and buy like handouts, greeting cards, labels, the things that you love immediately. It just is going to make your buying experience so much quicker, and we want that, but we only want genuine followers. I'm not about to buy followers. I'm not about to find people that really wouldn't be interested. This is only doTERRA builders, people who love Tipster Tuesday and things like that. So if you haven't followed us yet on Instagram, it's Live Naturally Tools, and then if you have friends that haven't followed us yet, just let them know, because it would really help us to get to 10,000 followers so we can sell right on Instagram for you. And that's just going to make it easier when you're like, oh, click, click. What's she talking about? Click, click. It'll make it easier. So we want that to be easy, right? That's our whole thing. Simple, easy. It's the best thing. So thanks for joining me, you guys. I'll answer your questions. I promise. I appreciate it. And we will see you guys next week.